So recently I was working with someone who was just starting out with mixing and producing and recording. And I thought to myself, okay, what would be a good investment if I was just starting out, and what would I invest in terms of plugins? And so with the UAD sale, I thought I'd take a look and tell you what I think will be a good investment in terms of plugins and which one I use and I tend to use the most. So you can select 10 plugins. Of course, there's the Apollo and the Native. So what Native is, it runs on the CPU of your computer. And then Apollo, it can run on the DSP of your Apollo. Empirical Labs EL8, Distressor compressor. Yeah, 100%. It's really versatile. I would definitely recommend getting it. I could do a whole mix and have this as the only compressor that I'm using. It can be very fast, it can be smooth, it can be very aggressive. If I zoom in, you can see like there's distortion on there. That's where the name comes from, by the way. Distortion, it's compressor, and distortion, distressor. Distortion, compressor, distressor. In the studios that I've been to, I've always seen the Distressor there, usually in a pair. And yeah, just every session that I've done, I end up either using 1176s or Distressors as outboard gear. I like it on snare, I love it on bass, you can use it on vocals. Actually, when I'm tracking vocals here in my studio, I tend to use 2 Distressors in a row. The first Distressor is a 20:1, and then the second one is a 4:1 ratio or a 6:1, it really depends. I end up using these. It has an internal high pass filter. It's just the part where it listens. Only the part where it listens to gets the low cut. So why is this nice? If you have a snare close mic and there's a lot of bleed in there of a kick drum, then the compressor will also trigger from the kick drum. But if you have the high pass on there, on the detector circuit, it's gonna react less to the kick drum because the kick drum is at a lower frequency. And these distortions are really nice. So yeah, I'd say this is very versatile, and it has the nuke option, which is just fucking full on distortion and just limiting, and it's just crazy. And you can run it in parallel with the mix knob. So yeah, let's put it in the basket. So we have the UAD Sound City Studios. I have it. There are times that it is nice, but a lot of the times, I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. Like, it's not a bad plugin. It's like, there's a lot in there. For my first plugin, this would not be my first choice, but it is a good plugin. So the Ampex ATR-102 mastering tape recorder. Yes, I like it. I love it, actually. I always have it on my mix bus. You have all these options for your tapes. I will not go into detail because then it will be a very long video. So I mix into it. Halfway in my mix, I turn this on and then just mess with the tapes. I usually end up being at 15 IPS and then the 900. And then I mess around with the biasing and stuff because you can open it up and then you can do a lot of fun stuff with it. But would I get it if I was just starting out? For now, I like it, but it can be very intimidating. And when you're just starting out, your ears for what a plugin does and what saturation does and what tape does aren't that developed yet. So maybe it's a little too advanced, but for now, let's just put it in because it's an awesome plugin. What I would recommend is do a mix, you bounce it down, and then put this on that mix. So kind of like as if you're mastering. It's the mastering tape, but yeah, kind of like your master, and then just turn it off and start tweaking with it and just look up a little video on how it actually works and just experiment. Oh, does this sound nicer? Does this add to what I'm looking for? Does this make it sound like a record? And if you're like, okay, yeah, wow, it does sound amazing. Be sure to level match, because if it's just louder, yeah, anything sounds better. Mess around with it, see if it works for you, and then put it on your master or on your mix bus. That's what I do. Let's just add it for now because it's a great plugin. Like, any of these plugins are great. I'm just thinking of how useful would it be if you're just starting out with mixing. You got started, you use the stock plugins, ready to take it to the next level and invest in some good plugins, some high quality gear, and UAD is, in my opinion, very suited for that. Lexicon 224 digital reverb. I have it. It sounds pretty good. I do have to say it can be a bit confusing as the interface and how to use it. It sounds great. It's just the workflow for me doesn't really. I'm not a super fan of it. I like the 480 better. I'm just gonna skip that for now. And also, if you're working in Logic or you're working in Pro Tools, there's a lot of like great reverbs already in there. So having another reverb would not like make a massive difference. And there are easier plugins to work with. But if you have an Apollo, you can use this reverb for tracking. So you put it on your monitoring of your Apollo, and then you have reverb. And there's some good presets in there, but I highly recommend you to really work out how to use a plugin and do it your own and not rely on presets, because then you don't actually know. If you're always using presets, then you don't actually learn anything. You're just doing like, oh yeah, this sounds good, guess I'll use that for now. If this doesn't work, then I don't know how to use it. That's, for me, that's a bit tricky. Like, it can still sound great, but if it's not, then you need to know how to tweak it. SSL 4000E channel strip, yes. Just yes. I use this on all my mixes. I used to have the Waves one, which is also quite cheap. It's like 24 euros, dollars. It's great. And then I tried this, and I don't know how, it just, my experience was that my mixes started opening up. Waves one felt a little bit on the lifeless side, I guess. And also judging from, because I've worked on an SSL console, this is quite close, in my opinion. It's bright. It's a bright EQ. So if you crank it all the way on a vocal, it can get harsh, but that's what an SSL is. It seems intimidating because there's a lot of knobs, right? But don't be fooled. It's not that hard. It's just you gotta figure out. And why do I recommend working on an SSL channel strip style plugin? There's no view. There's no view of what is happening. Sometimes I got a kick drum and I got the AK. I got the AK just cranked 15 dB because the recording then I didn't do it, so then it's not good. No, but the AK I got it cranked, and if I do that on like a Pro Q, I'm like, oh wow, okay, this is a lot. But on the SSL, you don't have that reference point of like seeing the frequencies, because that can be misleading. Because then you see like, ooh, there's something popping out here. Oh, there's a lot of this. There's a lot of that. Oh, there's a lot of rumble in the low end. Oh, let me take it out. And then your mix doesn't really glue together because you like took everything out because you saw a little rumble at the low end and you cut it all off. There's no need to do that. Or you cannot really see it, so you're not bothered by it. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna listen. That's why I recommend a channel strip style EQ. I'd say 90% of my mixes are done with the SSL channel strip. You got the EQ section. This is your high shelf. You can turn it to a bell. There's not a bell here. This is the Q, so how wide the boost you're doing or the cut you're doing. This is 600 to 7K. That's the frequencies that you can do, and this is the amount of that you're boosting or cutting. So green one, this belongs all together. This is the same, this belongs all together, and this is the same. Now this is a low shelf by default. So you're shelving, you're not just doing a bell boost, but you're shelving. But you can turn it into a bell by clicking the bell button. I usually on kick drums do a bell, and on bass, if I'm boosting low end, then I do a shelf. You have the option of either black knob and brown knob. It also has the mic and the line button. Then it'll simulate the mic input of an SSL channel strip, which just add more harmonic distortion. I like it. And line is just cleaner. It can be a bit confusing in the beginning. So you gotta kind of see it as this is your input gain. Oh, by the way, you press flip, you flip from line to mic. So there's also a compressor in there. I love the sound of the SSL compressor, of the channel strip compressor. It's great. Yeah, fast attack, you click it, it's fast. There's no way to control the fast attack, but that's fine. It just works. It just works. That's what I like about SSLs. It just works. It just does what I need it to do. Then you have a gate in there. You have 3 different options. You got an expander, a gate 1, gate 2. And you got a low cut and a high cut. I'm already going too much into detail, so I'll just try to keep it short. Just get it, figure out how it works, look up tutorials, and it might be a little tricky, but then you know, like, this also teaches you, like, signal flow. Speaking of SSL 4000 bus compressor, just yes, yeah. You can put it on your mix bus. I've done that for years, yeah, with the Waves one, and then I switched to the SSLG bus. I no longer really use it as a mix bus compressor, but I use it as a drum bus compressor. And it just adds a little more glue to the drums, so to the kick and snare. It has a little more snap. It's also, I like it in parallel for adding parallel compression. I think this is a very good compressor to figure out, okay, what does a mix bus compressor do? How does that make my mix sound? What does it do to a drum bus? Yeah, I recommend that. API, yeah, I tried it. It sounds good. I like API. It's just, I'm more of an SSL guy anyway. I like APIs for tracking. It's similar to the SSL where you have mic and line. It has a gate. It has a compressor. So it has all the things that SSL has. These EQs sound really cool. I'm not the biggest fan of fixed EQ points, but still, if you give me this, then yeah, I work. I like putting these on toms. When I'm tracking, I like putting these on toms. To start out with it, yes, maybe. Actually, because of the fixed EQ points, it has very musical EQ points, if that makes sense. For instance, on the snare, you can boost it at 200, the fundamental of that snare. Not every snare has the fundamental at 200, by the way. Then you can either add some more aggression at 1K or take out some like honkiness at 500, boxiness, or 700. Then you boost for some more bite, some 3K, 5K-ish, and then you do a nice high shelf around 7K or 10K or 5K. For a first plugin, again, it can seem intimidating because of all the knobs and stuff, but just look it up, invest into learning a plugin. I would say yes, but I might take it out later. Studer A100, yes, I like it. It's the same thing as ATR, not in sound, but it's the same workflow. Would I recommend it for starting out? No, not good. It's amazing. If you already have the ATR, I think it's really suited for your mix bus. And then if you're just starting out, you don't even know what saturation is, or you do, but it's like too confusing. And I'd say it's a little more advanced. Tape plugins can be a little more advanced. So I'd say for now, no, but it's great. Manley Massive Passive, I see it as a mix bus EQ. Would I recommend it? I would not. If you're starting out, I would not put EQ on your mix bus, because you tend to then start to try and correct what you're doing on your mix bus, and that's a very bad thing. You need to fix your mix on the individual level, on the individual tracks or the buses there. I would not start out putting an EQ on my mix bus. And other than that, I don't see this as a channel EQ, so I would say no. If I say no to any of these plugins, I'm not saying they're shit. For just starting out, I would say no. API 2500, yes, it's nice on drums. It can be great on bass. Again, it's a similar setup to the SSL bus compressor. So it's either this one or the SSL bus compressor. So let's just put it in there. It works. It's nice. You can actually use it on your mix bus as well. Capital chamber, it's a reverb. We're gonna skip it. Just stock reverbs are good enough. 1176 classic limiter collection, yes. I cannot imagine doing a mix without an 1176 compressor. It's so familiar. I see the 1176 as the stock compressor. You need a compressor for drums? Yeah, 1176. On vocals, 1176. On bass, 1176. There's free revisions on there. So you get free versions of this compressor. In the beginning, you're not going to hear the difference. What I recommend is you either start with this one or this one. I'd say yes, it's great for tracking vocals, for bass, anything like that. It's still very versatile. Also like the Distressor, a little less versatile, but still. I mean, if you're starting with mixing, then you're gonna see 1176s at some point in your mixing career. Fairchild, I like it, I love it. Not my first go-to when you're starting out. It's a little too limiting in the sense of like the release gain, and you don't know what you're gonna put it on. It works on very specific things, but I'd say if you're just starting out, you can do it with 1176s. Not that they sound the same, they're quite different actually. If you just want to do a basic mix, a Fairchild tube limiter is not my go-to. I'm gonna keep it moving and just say yes, no for a couple of plugins. I haven't tried them. Capital Mastering, I don't know. Avalon, I don't know. I use the Real Thing, it's nice, I like it. I would not invest a preamp plugin. All those preamp things are subtle if you're starting out. Your hearing is not evolved to the point where you can hear it already. So I would not say, oh, go buy a preamp plugin. I don't even use preamp plugins at my stage, and I've been doing this for 9 years. Minimoog, yeah, it's nice. But I'm also guessing that there's a free Minimoog plugin out there. Not my first go-to. Pultec. The UAD ones are known to be the most accurate ones. For you, I'd say I like them, I love them, I use them all the time. I'd say yes, put them in there. You do big EQ moves on these. It's like a shelving compressor. So this is a boost for the low end, and then this is your high end. So it's a high end and a low end. And there's of course a trick called the Pultec trick, where you boost and cut at the same frequency, and it takes care of the mud while adding some nice low end. Just very simple. I'd say yes. It's very easy because then you're turning up, oh, I need things to be brighter. Let's put a Pultec on there and make it brighter. Oh, it's now brighter. Amazing. And you don't overthink and start doing these tiny little EQ moves that don't matter because you think they matter, but you're listening in solo, and here it's just like crank it. Crank that high end. Crank that 12K with like 8. It doesn't mean 8 dB, but 8. Crank it to 8 or 10, whatever, and it doesn't get very harsh very fast. So that's also nice. It's very smooth. DBX 160 compressor. It's nice. It's very, it does one thing and one thing only. It compresses. There's no control over it. I tend to not really use DBX 160s, not because they suck, but it's just like I like to have a little more control, but it's very easy. Just use it to compress. I mean, that's what you do with a compressor, but you pull down the threshold and you select your ratio and it's all fixed. So it would be a little like life hack if you don't understand how the compressor works, but then again I'm saying learn how a compressor works and don't rely on stuff to just do it for you. Like RVox is amazing, but if then, I don't know, RVox doesn't work or whatever, you're somewhere where you don't have RVox or a DBX 160, now you have to set attack and release times and you don't know what to do. LA-2A, yes, it's on vocals, it's on bass. It is true that it, again, like the DBX 160, it does one thing and one thing only, but it does it so nicely, and you get like 3 different versions. Don't bother trying to figure out what does what. Just use one of these. I'd say use this one and it sounds nice. Put it on vocals. It's a smoothing compressor. You can do the thing, if you bought the 1176s, you put on the 1176 first and then you put on the LA-2A. It's a very popular combination to do as serial compression. So yeah, if you go into a professional studio, there is bound to be an LA-2A there and an 1176. It's nice. Buy it. Never used it. Galaxy Tape Echo. It's fine. First investment, nah, just use the stock. I use it for tracking and then I print it and it sounds nice, but the Galaxy one is nice, but it doesn't make me very hyped or anything. UAD Dream 65. I tried it. It's nice. I actually like the amp sims from UAD. It is native though, so you cannot run it on your Apollo, why? Any of the guitar amp plugins I do recommend. They're really dumbed down. I wish I had a little more options. Any of those amp sims sound great. I don't think they're the greatest, but they definitely sound great. I use the Marshalls on my records just for UAD's purposes. Any of the guitar amps are fine. Just try it out, see which ones you like. LA-3A, I love them. I don't like the UAD version, so no. Be very honest with you and very quick, no. Ravel, never tried it. Buy it if you want to. I haven't tried it, so I cannot tell you. Same goes for the Hits EQ collection, Studio D chorus. I am sure it's great. It's a chorus. Would I recommend getting the Studio D chorus? I'd say that there's a couple of effects that should be stock in your arsenal. A mono delay, a stereo delay, chorus, and some parallel compressors. So compressors in parallel. And I know that Logic has a stock chorus. I know that Pro Tools has a stock chorus. So those are fine as well. I have tried the Real thing with this. It's nice. I like it. I tend to use an H3000, but I would say a chorus is one of the things that I tend up using to not necessarily have it as an obvious chorusing effects, but just to add some more stereo width in parallel and have things glue together. Like Andy Wallace used to put a chorus on his bass guitar that would widen it a little, and then there would be a little more movement and it would glue a bit more with the guitars. Yeah, actually, yeah, the chorus would be a nice investment. Helios preamp, like I said, preamp, don't invest in it when you're starting out. Fuck that, no, no. Sure, it's great, don't know, never tried it. Yes, I like this, I use it on records. Don't know, never tried it. Fucking boring, I got it, I tried it once, could not be bothered. was not inspiring to use. Yeah. Brigade Chorus, try it. I had a friend who actually has the real thing, and it sounds really, really cool. Just try it out, see what you like. Demo stuff first, don't blind buy stuff, okay? Type A multi-band dynamic, no, I don't care. It's too complicated for you, it's multi-band stuff. You can really seriously fuck up stuff with multi-band things if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, sure. I'm sure it's nice, never tried it, so I can't advise you on stuff that I haven't tried. Try it out, looks very easy. Synthesizers, there's a lot of great free synthesizers, so I'm guessing, sure, it's great, but you can try first some free plugins. And your DAW has great synths. Fatso, never tried it, I'm sure it's great. Same goes for the API series, I'm sure it's great. I have it, it sounds amazing, quite limited, and also oftentimes need EQ. But it is nice for specific occasions, but just not a general reverb that I tend to use. I just tend to use the Lexicon the 480 Lexicon, and I don't know if UAD has it. EMT 250, it's probably great. So EMT 140, no. Oxide Tape recorder, yes. It's so dumbed down and easy. You literally have like two options, 7.5 inch and 15 inch. 7.5 inch, you could call it more lo-fi. There's less high end, there's less low end. It tends to smooth out things. The EQ is like CCR and NAB. The one is for, I think, like, I don't really remember. One is European and one is American and used to be brighter. I don't know for the calibration. It's really easy. If you want to get into tape sounds, I'd say yes. And it can be actually quite nice, but don't be the guy who just like, oh, I like saturation. Let me slap it on everything. So yeah, I'd say yeah. Oxide Tape recorder, sure. UAD, the 1176, you have the collection of 3 different 1176, so why would you get one? Same goes for the LA-2A. You can have 3 or you can have 1. Maybe it's a different rendition of it, I don't know. You're not gonna hear the difference when you're starting out. And I don't mean that in a degrading way, by the way. It's just your hearing has to evolve to hear the differences between compressor types and compressor sounds and like saturation and what does stuff do. And it takes a long time to really hear the difference. Can you guys tell I'm sick, by the way? Polymax synth. It is pretty damn nice. I have used it on my records. Again, stock synths will work great. You just got to twist them and not use presets. Or you use presets, I don't care. If it sounds great, it is great. A lot of DAWs have great synths, like stock synths. And I would then not say, oh, use the Polymax synth. Cooper Time Cube, never tried it, cannot tell you. Century Tube channel strip. Nah, I don't care. I don't care for it. It doesn't sound bad. It's just so, yeah, meh. So yeah, you have to make decisions with the bundle, but it's 99 euros. That's relatively cheap for the quality of plugins that you're getting. What I would recommend is, if I would do the bare minimum, I would say get the SSL channel strip. I would say get the 1176 collection. I would say get the LA-2A collection, the SSL 4000 Bus Compressor, the ATR mastering tape recorder, the Empirical Labs Distressor, one of the guitar amp plugins. I really like the Marshall, and the Pultec. That would be my recommendation. Let me know. Was I like way off? Would you say like, no, you should only invest in reverbs? But any of these plugins are great. I still use all of those right now, and I can do professional mixes with them. It just teaches you to not overthink what you're doing. These are like very easy and simple compressors and EQs to learn. And once you understand the concept of it, it really translates really easy to other plugins. And this way, you're having fun with nice EQs that sound great, nice compressors that sound great, but you're also learning just like how to mix an EQ in a very musical way and not focus on the tiny things that don't matter, and then you're over EQing and then you're losing perspective. It just keeps you being creative and mixing and not thinking and seeing. So yeah, those are my recommendations. Let me know what you think of it. I'd love to hear you guys' takes on it. And yeah, see you at the next video.